So let me say a prayer. The Lord be with you. Lord, we thank you for the season of Advent, of anticipation, of promise and living. I thank you for Elsie Adams and for all those who have been willing to share from their experience during this series. Please open our hearts to learn from their lives and be present with us this morning. Pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen. I'm very pleased to present Elsie Adams, who you all know better than you know me. So,
good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Thank you for coming today on this first Sunday night event. It's especially meaningful as we anticipate the event that changed the world, the birth of Christ. I was the second child born to a young couple in St. Paul, Minnesota. My parents, who were born in 1884 and 1891, had moved there from Florida. They achieved an education far beyond the usual at that time. This fact framed my life. My father was an assistant minister in one of the largest Baptist churches in Jacksonville, Florida. His first post as a senior pastor was in St. Paul. He had graduated from Morehouse College and received his master's degree from Drew Theological School in Madison, New Jersey. My mother graduated from Spelman Seminary, now Spelman College, in 1910 and became an elementary school teacher. These accomplishments were most unique for African Americans in that era. Their educational accomplishments were very influential toward my concept and recognition of education as being essential to one's life achievements. In addition to educational concepts, my early years were deeply affected by the religious tone at home. My father's life, once he returned to segregated Florida, was again being challenged by the inequities of racial boundaries and restrictions. He was diminished in many ways and not accepted as the human being he was. As a result of the extreme indignity he suffered, he was very dictatorial and demanding toward his family. Social situations were created and practiced to constantly demean African American persons always. The only place in which he could exercise his manhood and dignity was in his home. After marrying and living in Baltimore for several years in 1954, it became necessary for my immediate family to return to Florida. God directed me to the Episcopal Church. When I told my father that I was becoming a member, he responded graciously, "Daughter, we all serve the same God." That was a blessing to me, and it confirmed that I had made the right choice. There has never been a day when I questioned my decision. Several experiences have grounded my faith. They enabled me to make decisions affecting our family in positive ways. Determination, coupled with the reality that nothing is impossible to accomplish if God so directs, propelled me in a realistic direction. In the early 50s, I applied to the University of Maryland to enroll in classes to work for my master's in education. Maryland did not admit African Americans and arranged for faculty members from New York University to come to Baltimore to conduct classes. Near the end of the program, one semester of residency was required. The state of Maryland financed my travel to New York City and enrollment in the summer courses at NYU. Meanwhile, my mother, who was principal of a school in Orlando, Florida, applied to the University of Florida for classes. She was also denied admittance, and the state of Florida paid for her to go to Columbia University as an alternative. We both received our graduate degrees in 1956. Then, a former undergraduate classmate who had moved to White Plains notified me that the Urban League was working on a program to get African Americans to apply for teaching positions in the New York area. I applied to several systems and decided to come for an interview in White Plains. Dr. Carroll F. Johnson and his staff interviewed me. I was accepted and appointed to Eastview Elementary School. My oldest daughter enrolled at White Plains High. 2 younger ones went to Battle Hill Junior High, and the youngest accompanied me to Eastview. Faith, determination, and preparation brought my family and me to White Plains in 1958. My husband was ill and could not join us until the next year. As I walked to Eastview Elementary each day from Battle Hill, where on Sunday, where we were living, I passed Grace Church. One Sunday, I decided to check it out. Father David E. Whedon was rector. He embraced, at that time, there was a very small family. At that time, there was a very small African-American presence. I immediately felt a strong spiritual connection, which has never diminished. In fact, it has grown stronger through the years, even when I returned to Florida after retirement. With Father Whedon and Grace Church, I found peace, fulfillment, 100% for my family via help with getting my daughters in college, and encouragement in whatever ventures we tried. I also received comfort in 1966 during my husband's illness and death, and I felt 100% acceptance of my racial heritage. Today, as has been true since 1958, Grace Church is my rock, my foundation. It epitomizes a place of safety for me to come to anytime I feel the need. It is a great privilege for me to attend every Sunday. If I miss a Sunday, the entire week is off to a bad start, and I feel bad. I feel lost. Sharing the readings for the day with other members is a treat. Listening to the clerical explanations of those readings clarifies my understanding and provides spiritual sustenance for the days ahead. When thinking of Grace today and in the future, I hope we can increase our numbers and maintain our diverse congregation. I am glad to see the family service each month because it is a baby step in the right direction. My heart rejoices as we watch the little ones react spontaneously to the dramatics of Dr. Barbara and the presentation and questions by Father Coons. These children are learning, and as they learn, they are happy. Their participation in the activities reflects the openness and innocence of young minds. It also helps them learn how to respond to real life issues now and in the future. When the children return to their seats, I can see that they are exuberant and feel validated. Their parents can see it and feel it too. What more encouragement does a parent need to realize that Grace Church is a spiritual home for the family? The children can talk about their involvement with others, and it's possible that additional children and their parents will come to Grace to share the experience. Word of mouth is often successful in expanding opportunities. One of the greatest gifts of aging is to finally acknowledge that we do not control our destiny. God is in charge, always has been, and always will be. When there are no accidents or coincidences in life. When we accept that truth, we permit ourselves to be receptive to the belief that we can let go and let God. This is not easy. It is a developing path through a lifetime. We may not recognize what is happening at the time, but eventually, with faith, we can embrace it. I would like to close with a prayer that my dad wrote a long time ago. I found it in his papers after his death. O most loving Savior, in the light of this new day, may the sunshine of your presence shine upon our souls. Dispel the darkness from our mind and wills and teach us how we should walk and what we should do. We thank thee for the opportunity of this new day. May our tasks be done with diligence and all our duties and responsibilities be greeted with joy. Give us willing hearts that we may patiently and faithfully toil this blessed day, so that at its close we can say truly, this was one more day's work for thee. Amen.
Amen. Well, thank you. I'm sure there are questions. You're willing to answer questions, right? Okay.
I just wanted to say that your comments about how you felt upon joining in grace of peace and safety are so true to me.
I'd like to ask you, when did you come to White Plains? That they invited you to come and be a part of the teaching? Was it
1958.
That was pretty early, wasn't it? In the,
Yeah, I was one of the first 6 teachers to be in the White Plains.
What kind of response did you get?
When I got here, I was accepted.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't
accept Elsie.
Excuse me?
Who would not accept Elsie?
No, I'll tell you what, no, I wasn't. I came here and I had my 4 daughters and I was trying to find a place to live. Couldn't do it. We went to North Broadway, the apartments were brand, the rental information was in the papers. So whenever I would go or call, it was possible. They'd ask me how old were the children, and the reason they asked for that was that they wanted to know if the children could reach the elevator control. But when they found out my racial identity, they said they didn't have any place for me. And the super who managed and maintained the building was outraged because I taught his son, but I couldn't live in the building where he worked. So finally, a couple who had moved in White Plains and moved in their area on Battle Hill at night offered me like a little bedroom and a downstairs and the basement kitchen. Okay, I lived there for a while. That's why I walked from Battle Hill to White Plains every day, back and forth. I didn't know anything about a bus. I just walked back and forth. And when I saw I'd see Grace Church, and I was Episcopalian. I said, So I told my landlady about it, and she said, if you go to that church, the black people on White Plains will not accept you. I said, tough, because I'm going.
Wow. Why would you say that?
Because that was the feeling of the day. She wanted me to go to a Baptist church or something, and I had relinquished the Baptist church because my father had been so dictatorial and so strong that I didn't like it. And I came, and as I said, Father Whedon embraced us. I mean, he was there. Rivers can tell you, he was there. And he comforted and did work with us. And my husband came, was ill. You'll see my husband's name on the plaque there by the water. And I know you all have wondered why it's unbelievable to think that New York University, I mean that the state of Maryland and the state of Florida could deny us the opportunity to go to school. But that is true. And Dr. Carol Johnson, I don't know, maybe you've read about it, he just died recently at the age of 99, I think. And I wrote his son lives here. And his son is a headmaster of the school here. I haven't met him yet, but it's coincidental, as I said, no coincidences. But my best neighbor in where I live, I asked her, just happened to ask, I said, do you know Dr. Carol Johnson? She said, yes. We live right next door to him. I was brought up with his son, and she has been in touch with the son. She does dental hygienist, and she said, he's a patient of mine. So we're trying to work something so that I can meet him. I wrote him a letter and told him how much his father meant to me. And I said, when I get my retirement check, I always remember Dr. Johnson, because his acceptance of me increased this check. So I expect to meet him. Yes.
So Elsie, how long have you been writing these letters?
All my life. It's pretty hard sometimes to try to get them together, but I thank God that I am here at 92 and a half, able to put sentences, words into sentences and write. I mean, I'm just blessed. I know that. To even do this now, my daughter Cynthia worked with me in getting this in shape, and she picked out my outfit. Oh my goodness, and she called me at about 8:30 and said, I'm sorry, I'm not coming. I said, that's okay. That's okay. You're here. Everything she's done has helped me. So that's the way it is. I know I'm blessed. I thank him every day. And as I said, if I don't come to church on Sunday, I'm lost. I mean, Grace Church means everything to me.
Louise has
Yes,
something.
Louise.
Elsie, when you were teaching, how did your religion fit into it? Did you have to keep it separate from your teaching, or did you integrate it? I was just wondering.
I know it was just there. It was integrated as a part of me. How I treat children. Children said to me, you're tough, but you're fair. I mean, I was known for that. And one time I was just about to get my, you know what you get 3 years, you know, after you
Tenure.
What?
Tenure.
My principal came to me, you know him, what was it, Cynthia?
I'm not sure.
Well, that's okay. He came to me and said, Elsie, why would you do something like this when you're just about to make tenure? I said, what are you talking about? He said, this parent said you slapped her child. I said, Mr. He was a member of the church here. I can't think of his name right now. He said, you slapped a child. I said, I did not slap a child. I said, I've never done that. Well, that's what she said. Eastview Elementary was connected to Eastview Junior High. And so I went to the office, Eastview Junior High. The principal of junior high called me in for a consultation, because here I was within a month of my tenure. Mm-hmm. And he said, what? I said, I didn't do that. So he got the lady on the phone who said that. She was just talking and carrying on talking with him. He just handed me the phone. And I heard what she was saying. And I handed it back to him. And he heard what she was saying, too. And that convinced him. She just wanted to do that. here I was, it was terrible. And then, okay, about the house, the place we were living. A parent of one of my children told me about a vacancy in an apartment right close by the church. Somebody just left. It's 425 Main Street. We went there, and we lived there. And I just was within walking distance of not Grace Church, but within walking distance of East too, and Grace Church too. I just walked. I didn't learn how to drive until I was in the 40s. So I walked.
When you came to Grace Church in 1958, what was the diversity like?
I mean, there were about 10. Boyd Johnson, well, no, Eileen's mother and father, but he didn't come. Dr. Williams didn't come, and he was my doctor. Eileen and her mother used to come on Christmas Eve, and every time they go to sit down, I said, that's my pew, that's my pew. And they just had to get up, and they were standing against the wall because they couldn't sit down. He asked, Father Whedon said, where do you live? I told him. He said, you belong here. Now, Dr. Williams was the first African-American doctor in White Plains. I don't know whether he came to church, I don't know, but that was there. And then Boyd and Eileen got married, and of course there was one more person. But when I came, there weren't very many people.